Welcome back to part 2 of building this slatted rectangular backdrop. Towards the end of the previous video, I showed you exactly how to mark out where you will want to drill the wood screws into. I did use 1 1/4 inch wood screws, and you will also notice that I'm using the 1 foot scrap pieces as the spacers, so I evenly space it throughout and keep it nice and tight. You'll also see that I'm only attaching the wood screws at the top and the bottom. I'm doing this 1 inch in on both sides, and this is primarily so that it doesn't shift when installing the rest of the screws. I will say that laying it down is probably the easiest way to do this, as you don't want the slats to shift while attaching them. The next step in the process, I turned over the board so I can mark out the halfway point, and I did use the spare board to mark out the straight lines, which essentially I'm just lining up the top and bottom of the screw and making a line from that. These lines will help me towards the end of the process, as it made a grid of where I could attach the points. I then took all the spare pieces and put them in the spaces towards the middle, and now I'm attaching the 1 1/4 inch wood screws in the center of the board. Doing this type of process is going to guarantee that you have even spaces throughout. You will need to turn around the board to get to the other side, and once I was finished with that, I then moved on to the 1/4 and the 3/4 of the board, as those will be the additional spaces that I will be attaching the 1 1/4 wood screws to. The easy way about this process is where I made the lines originally with the original screws at the top and bottom. Now with these additional markings, I know exactly where to install the remaining of the screws. Once I completed this step, I then moved on, and for safe measures, I did use my brad nail gun and used the 1 1/4 inch brad nails and added several brad nails per slat. Once you're finished with that step, you now have a beautiful slatted wall ready for the leg installation. So make sure to put all your questions in the comments. Stay tuned for part 3, and thanks for watching.